Want to talk about the arithmetic sequence. And in particular, we are going to find out how we calculate the common difference D. Now the key here is to use your calculator effectively, because sometimes we might be in a rush and we might find ourselves trying to add numbers or subtract numbers, and our brain gives us something which is totally different. So let's start with a very simple arithmetic sequence, and that arithmetic sequence is going to be 2, 7, 12, 17. Now, in any arithmetic sequence, and this should be your common practice, the first point is to establish D. And to establish your D, you need to do it twice. So we normally use D is equal to term number 2 subtract term number 1. And also we use D is equal to term number 3 subtract term number 2. Obviously the second term will subtract the first term, or the fifth term will subtract the sixth term. As long as the terms are consecutive, you are going to subtract the lower term from the higher term. Okay, so in this case our higher term is T2, and it's going to be 7. We are going to substitute. Remember to use brackets. And the lower term is 2. I am using brackets specifically because this is where most people get it wrong. So now I'm going to find my common difference is 5. And here we come again, and we are going to also find our common difference. Our T3 in this case is 12, and subtract our T2, and it's 7. 12 minus 7 on your calculator will give you 5 again. Once we have established that we have a constant difference, we see the first D we found was equal to 5, the second D we found was equal to 5, then we can now safely say it's NAS, arithmetic sequence. And that is the first lesson. And this is very important because sometimes when you get a sequence, you need to establish whether it's an arithmetic sequence or it's any other sequence. So in this case, when the two D's are the same, you will find that you can now say it's an arithmetic sequence. Now let's look at a situation whereby we don't have numbers which are just straightforward. So suppose say we start with -1, -4, -7, -10. Now this is an arithmetic sequence, and like I said, the first thing you do is to establish your D. D is equal to T2 minus T1, and also here we can also say D is equal to T3 minus T2. And now we use our bracket. Our T2 is -4, subtract our T1 is -1. Now most learners have got a phobia. They really don't like to respect the negative sign, so you'll find that they'll always make a mistake because they can see so many negatives, so they assume that one negative, the middle negative, is being replaced by one of those, and that is a mistake to watch. So you're going to use your calculator in this case. -4 subtract in brackets -1, and then this will give us -3. Again we come here and we do the same here. D3 is again in bracket -7, subtract in bracket -1, -4, right? So we are going to subtract -4 from -7. Again, this is going to give us negative 3. You don't have to simplify it, because you can simply punch it in your calculator the way it is. You just put brackets, negative 7, close bracket, minus, negative bracket again, negative 4, close bracket, and you write your answer. They are not going to give you extra marks. And now because we have seen that our D's are the same, then we can say AS. It's an AS. Now, these are examples whereby you can calculate your common difference, and just to humor you, I can also do one with fractions, and let's say we have got 8 over 7, 6 over 7, and 4 over 7, and 2 over 7. This is another arithmetic sequence. The only difference is it's in fraction mode. So you can simply see that the numbers which are changing are the ones at the top, which are the bottom one are not changing. But we can still establish our difference. D is equal to T2 minus T1, and the other D is equal to T3 minus T2. And then we substitute bracket 6 over 7 minus 8 over 7 in bracket, and this will give us minus 2 over 7. And also on this side, D is equal to 4 over 7 in bracket, subtract 6 over 7 in bracket, and this will also give us minus 2 over 7. And this you get by punching into your calculator, and you get your common difference. So then you'll say this is obviously it's an arithmetic sequence. I always get used to writing that it's an arithmetic sequence. Now, where do we use this idea? Where can the common difference come and it gives you a complicated situation? This we are going to then look at it and say, look, sometimes they can give us a function and say, well, you have a number 3 x plus 2 12 I think it's going to be here, it's going to be 2. Let's just put a 2, not 3. Just going to wrap out this one, and then I'm just going to put a 2, x plus 2, then 12, and then lastly we have got 17. Now here you have got an unknown x, so we can't really go straight into finding D, because if I try to find my D, D is equal to T2 minus T1, and if I substitute, I am going to get my T2 is x plus 2 minus 2, which is going to be x. And then the other one, I'm also going to work out D is equal to T3 minus T2, and this one is going to give us 12 minus bracket x plus 2. Now this will then give us 12 minus x minus 2 is going to be 10 minus x. Now notice that here we have been told it's an arithmetic sequence, but when we found our D, the first D is x, the second D is 10 minus x. So what you now need to do is to tell yourself that this is an arithmetic sequence. Therefore, that x and that 10 minus x should be the same, because you have been told it's an arithmetic sequence, so these two should be equal to each other. That means you have 2x is equal to 10, and finally x is equal to 5. then you can safely now then say, okay, fine, I found my x, so therefore the terms in the sequence are 5 plus 2 is 7, then 12, and then 17. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we find the common difference and some of its applications. Thank you.